Okay, so today in this video we're going to show you the basics of the flashlighting that we have here in the studio. We use the Bones kit, GM400s and GM500s, which relate to the wattage of power that they put out. So 500 watts of power, 400 watts of power. More than enough to light anything you want to do in the studio here. We're going to go through the setup, powering on, and what the basic functions are as well. So whenever you're using studio lighting, you'll have them placed on a light stand. We have a massive selection of different light stands here in the rack behind me, different sizes. I'm going to use a Bones one here. They all have different little notches here for extending the height, lowering the height. One in the middle here is for extending the legs. And one thing to always make sure on your light stand is very important for safety is that all the light stands, the crossbars must be flat and level. That just gives a lot more support. It makes the stand rigid. If those are dipped down, you're basically balancing on the centre column. Your light could fall over with your modifier on it, and you could end up in some issues there with bulb smashing. To extend or lower the light stand, you just turn these knobs here and you extend up and down. Key thing is to start from the top, depending on how high you want to go, because obviously if you start from the bottom you can't reach the higher up one. So start from the topmost knob, extend the light stand, and then just tighten those off. You don't need to super tighten them, just give them a nice good firm turn to make sure that it doesn't then fall down. I'll start with the GM400. All these flashes have an L bracket on the side, which you can adjust if you want to raise or lower the position of the light. Again, just a firm turn, not locking them off with a super tight grip because they do become difficult to get off. I'll position that on the stand here, and I'm just going to lock that off using the nut on the side there. It's actually a bit high, so again, so it doesn't swivel around on the stand. And lower that down so we can see it. What I have done at the moment is loosen off one of these slightly so that I can swivel the light for the purposes of the cameras, so I can flip it around and show you the different buttons. But when you're using it in practice, make sure these are all locked off so the stand is rigid. Next thing you want to do is set in the power cable, which are all in the box to the side of the racking. Some are different lengths. Plug it into the lamp at the back, and then I plug this in. Now, one comment on safety here. When you have these wires going all across the studio, you have 2 or 3 lights up. I'll make sure that these plastic rubber mats, combination of plastic and rubber, down on the floor. Put them over your wires that are going across the studio floor, gives people a chance to walk over them, keeps them down on the floor, and keeps them nice and safe. Our back buttons here, we have our on-off switch. You'll see there's 2 symbols on the back. The top one is for the power lead, the bottom one is for where your flashlights have battery access for location lighting, so you can flip that down. We have our sync port, which will tie up to our cameras or to our radio transmitters in order to fire them. And then we have a range of different buttons here, which we'll discuss in a second. So I'm just going to flip that up to switch that on. Got the green light on to show the power. The Moglin lamp's on, as you can see from the light behind me here. We have our power guide on the side in the form of a turnable knob there. On the GM400s, the flash power and the Moglin power are the same thing. So as I go up and down, you can see the Moglin light puts out more or less power, and that mimics what the flash power is going to do as well. So if I come down to 1, that's low power. You'll see the green light will flash. What I would tend to do is just to pop that, and the green light goes steady. So what I've done is I've changed the power up and down, so what I've done is just dump that down to allow that to reset. And I can up the power. You have to really make sure you press that to release the power if you go down power voltage. If you go up, it's fine, it just increases the charge. If you go down, you have to press that test button in order to get rid of the power. On the back we have different lamp settings. These are for a modelling lamp, so that's off, so there'll be no modelling lamp at all. We still get flash. In the middle, it remains constant. Okay, so it's on all the time, even when we flash. If I put it down to the bottom, you notice that the power comes up. Just a very large, bright power. So it's constant as well. Constant full power. That mimics the flash. There we go. So the reason I always have it in the middle, because when I'm setting the power, I want to see where the light's falling on the object that I'm photographing. That's why I always leave it there. Our next button along is the ready button. If I put that on and fire, it's supposed to turns the lamp off, fires it, turns the lamp off. When the lamp comes back on, the flash is ready to go again. We've got beep, which obviously lets out quite an audible noise to let you know that the flash is ready to use again, the power has recycled. So you can tell in different ways. If you're working with people, it's usually quite good to have the ready button on, because the flash will come off, the model light will come off, the person you're working with will know that picture's been taken, and when the light comes back on, they'll know they're ready to go again. And the final button we have here is cell. This relates to these red squares that are on the top of the flashes. So they're called cells, slave cells. So when another flash goes off, if this is turned on, and this sees another flash fire, this will then fire this flash. So it's a nice way of triggering the other flashes. And that is the basic setup of this model. Whenever you're turning your flashes off, key important thing is to press the test button to discharge and then switch it off before there's a chance to power back up. That just lets all the power out of the flash. There's no build up of charge, there's no build up in the ampage or anything like that, because sometimes when you come back and turn them back on, they can sometimes blow the fuse or blow the modelling bulb because of the build up in charge. So always press the test button there when you're done with it and ready to move on. I'll show you quickly the differences in the other light. I did just turn the wrong knob there, but that's fine. So the 500 Esprits, they have two. They have a power and a lamp button, so you can set a different output for the power of the flash and a different output for the modelling light. So the modelling light is there just to help you illuminate focus. You can set that to whatever you need it to be. Your power will be slightly different depending on what your exposure is going to be, or if you keep them to the same in terms of number or the same direction. Again, you get an idea of what flash or what the light is going to cover in terms of the area it's going to spread. The same buttons on the back, lamp, beep and cell. So the lamp again has the three settings, except instead of ready, on the middle setting here the lamp will go off and come back on when it's ready, and on the bottom it will just stay on consistently. The beep to let you know, and the cell for firing off as well. Number one is your power source, your main power source. Number two is for the battery source. And again, this one, these grey models especially, every time you make an adjustment, press the test button, dump the power. Okay? That's they're more liable for keeping their charges than the older ones. And that is the basics of the flash. The last thing is that we have sync cords. These little ends will go either directly into your camera, or we have hot shoe mounts for them to go on top of your hot shoe and plug into the side. So when the camera fires, it sends a signal through the hot shoe for the flash, sends it down to the light to fire the light. They just plug into the back there. If you're using radio transmitter, you put the receiver into the back here, and you've got the transmitter on top of your camera. So that's how you then fire the flashes. You can get a bit tangled in these. Again, good practice is to always be aware of where your wiring is. If there are any ever issues with the flashes, any of them not working or they stop firing, please come and get a member of staff as quickly as possible, or as soon as possible, so that we can check modelling bulbs, we can check the fuses, we can check that everything's nice and safe for you to keep using. Okay. In the next video we'll show you about using the modifiers on the end here. On the flashes, on all of them when they're in storage, they have the spill kills on. These are called spill kill dishes. Okay. They do come with covers, however, over many years of educating in the studio, students will leave covers on. They will burn them because they think they're a type of modifier like a snoot because they have a hole in them. So we leave the spill kills on because you can then stack them on the table. If a spill kill is not on properly, just pull that back, the lever here, twist, and you can lift off. You can see here there's a modelling bulb and a flash bulb. Please never ever touch the flash bulb with your hands or your skin or anything else. These are very sensitive to oils in the skin. These are very expensive to replace. They're quite, delicate. Modelling bulbs are just simple screw-in light bulbs, okay? And if there's no light coming on, it tends to be these that go. If the flash isn't firing, it tends to be a fuse which is at the back of the light. But again, any issues, get a member of staff as quickly as you can. Bones fitting system is very easy to use. You've got your 3 little nodules there. You just line these up, be very careful not to touch any of the bulbs or lamps. You slot that in and you give a twist clockwise and it will lock into place. And that is the basics and essentials of how the flashlights work. Thank you.